Hi, John. I put together slides of the top 10 things kind of in preparation for a Tuesday meeting, and I thought, well, I'll make a quick video of it. If you're watching this on the YouTube link that I'll send you, you can actually just turn the speed up and go through this relatively quickly. Um, you literally watch it at double time, probably. Number one on my hit parade is BIM for Learning. I think the BIM is a tool not for just accomplishing architectural tasks, but helping to inform students about the way buildings are constructed. Is a really powerful kind of avenue that's not currently explored, I think, well enough, and created some papers regarding that. On the left, or excuse me, on the right-hand side here, I have one of the other things that's happening with things like Revit and BIM. It's BIM 360. We can literally create web-based 3D visual models that you can section and cut through. So there's just awesome amounts of possibility of increasing our learning horsepower or leveraging BIM to help our students learn better. With that idea of our students, I'm concerned with I guess retention, finding the right kind of students for the program. I think a lot of students are coming in and making architecture a choice of maybe what do I want to be, and they have very little exposure to it, very little idea what the practice is like. In the city schools here in Buffalo, many students don't even know what architecture is. I thought a boot camp, bootstrap type program sponsored by local AIA of a program that is developed, that I developed or we developed, or whoever collaborates with me, to help inform students about the excitement of the field and then prepare them with enough interactive learning and designing to see if that pans out for them, and actually to help them build a portfolio that they might use to apply for school. But this really digging down deeper into our high schools, especially city high schools, and trying to find people who may be really well apt to have great aptitude towards architecture, but it's really not on their radar right now. So one of the things that I think would be fun to do. VR, virtual reality for collaborative learning. Once again, VR obviously can stand alone on its own for an exciting way to describe architecture to people and help them get engaged with it. But if you push back through, I think the idea of using VR for the learning experience has wonderful possibilities also. I envision the idea of students, avatars, sitting together on parts of construction and really being able to see how they're assembled and how the components come together, and then expanding that into the idea that students might actually put all of their projects together into a streetscape and literally walk from project to project. And in this case, here's the instructor or the who might be leading this, or the presenter, showing their model in CAD, maybe even making adjustments in CAD and actually having that reflect right back in the project that is behind them. So that kind of group interactivity and exciting opportunity, exciting potentials, I think, that are happening with VR and some of the other tools that are coming along with that. And that one of the other tools is gaming engines. The idea of having multiplayer environments in virtual reality where people can do things and see them in real time. So their gaming engines are really advanced in their ability to create photorealistic images in real time, and they have a lot of software back behind them that allows this kind of programming. So in this case, this is a facade designer that was done by a professor, where you could change all kinds of features in it and see it in real time updated. So VR, online remote asynchronous learning enhancements. The idea is that at Alfred, we really don't promote this idea of online learning, but at the SUNY level, there's a strong promotion for the I guess the future of learning to be at least partially online for all kinds of reasons: accessibility, affordability. And I think that I want to keep a push on this idea that I'm developing materials that should be able to be experienced across a screen, that are interactive and engaging and rewarding, and pushing it far enough that, in fact, those environments can be even, for selected courses, more engaging and more effective than actual in-person learning. Not to do away with in-person learning, not to be a threat to it, but this is, I think, an exciting avenue to explore. You have an interest in and presented this idea of 3D printing, and I've had similar interest. This was thinking for Boston Valley Terracotta, 3D printing terracotta facades. In this case, you take a form that was created in computational modeling from a photographic image, thin it down so it become a facade, create through computational programming the returns to make it into a panel system that could be fabricated. And in the top image, it's the fabricated panel, and that's also the nesting for how it would be like baked in the oven. Um, Keeping on facades, I consulted for Boston Valley, but I also did work with Rigid Eyes, and one of the things I experimented with was this idea of facades that could be dynamically changing. This is based on curve forming, curved hinges. The idea that the facade can flex to either control solar insolation or solar gain on the facade. It's not something I'm actively pursuing, but I have presented on it, and there's been some interest in it. This idea of curve forming can also be static in ways of changing shape to enhance the performance of thin film materials or thin planar materials like steel or metals. The idea of creating this geometry in a way to create structural and both beautiful aesthetics in facade elements has been something I've been thinking about. You've done some thinking on pin forming or artisanal craftsmanship of facade elements. And this is some experiments I did with Rigid Eyes. Because we textured the metal, it had a lot of flexibility built into it. Those gaps could be flexed or unflexed. And so I came up with the idea of some soft tooling, wood tooling, and then by using a pin or a mallet kind of device, actually forming that, mechanically forming surfaces for, decorative effects. And then finally, you brought monitors out into the hallway. I think this idea of communicating ideas, making sure everybody knows what the group is doing, what we're aspiring to. So at Rigid Eyes, they created, these display panel systems that were based on Google Docs slideshows that showed what was happening in the factories and out in the field. I've also thought about doing our own website, actually a very simple website where many people could participate in adding content to it, kind of an open source concept. But I have many years of experience in exhibits and these kind of things, so it's something I can assist with and contribute to. So I hope that didn't take too long, and I'll post this, and I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.